Good evening, everyone. As Leo already gave gave the introduction about this talk of today, and we always talk about the Spirit's teaching about we as a spirit, that we have a physical body, but we never discuss much about the spiritual body, the perispirit. So the idea today, in the next, I would say, 15 minutes, is bring the basic information about this spiritual body that we call the perispirit in Spiritism, talk about the function of this body. We're not going to go deep because this basically require like more time, because this body is so important for us, because it is through this body that we as a spirit communicate or interact with the material world. So let us dive in a little bit about this topic of perispirit. In Spiritism, before we talk about the spirit, about the physical body, about the perispirit, we need to revisit the question 27 of the Spirit's book. This question talks about the universal Trinity. So what is the universal Trinity? The question is, if we look at the universe, which elements form the universe? So the answer is spirit and matter. And above all, spirit and matter, we have the creator, that's God. So if you see the way that I represent over there, I put God not inside, but not completely outside. Because God, if he is the creator, he cannot be part of the universe. But in the same time, he is inside of the universe. So it's a philosophical a way to see God. We know if we create something, we are not the creation, because we are the creator, isn't it? So someone that paint is not the paint. The painter is not the paint, you know. So it's the same thing that when we refer to God, we wanted to clarify. That's what we learn, especially in this first part of the Spirit's book. So also we have another element that is a derivation of this matter, you know. When we talk about matter, we talk about all kind of matter that we have in the universe. But in everything that we see is a transformation already of a primitive matter that we call the universal cosmic fluid. So the universal cosmic fluid is the primitive matter from where all the matters of bodies or planet is derived from, okay? So in order for the spirit to evolve, they need to be connected to matter. But to be connected to matter, we need another kind of element that we call the vital fluid. So when we talk about organic matter, like, you know, animals, plants, ourselves, the spirits cannot connect straight to this structure that we have, the physical body, if there is not this element that we call vital fluid. That's what gives us vitality, that will give us life in the physical body. We're going to go a little bit deep on this topic so we can understand better. When we talk about spirit is already a complex being itself. In fact, the definition of spirit that we find in the Spirit's book is not clear, because Kardec asked, what is the spirit made of? What is spirit? And he said, there is no words to describe for you. But if you wanted something to compare, you can compare as a flame, you know, as a light, a point of light. But even though it's not what it is, because there is no way to explain this to you. That was the enlightened spirit that was telling Kardec, and of course is the answer. So if we ask, okay, what is the spirit made of? We don't know. Yet, that's good. Yet, we don't know. But let's work with what we know already, okay? So, in order for the spirit, is already a product of the intelligent principle. Okay, so we have the primitive matter that we call the universal cosmic fluid, and we have the primitive intelligence, or the intelligent principle that will evolve and one day become a spirit. Okay, because this topic is very deep, we're just gonna give this information for now. So as we move to our presentation, I hope I can clarify a little bit more to you how this thing is done. So a quick highlight, we human beings, so we are this three-dimensional being. So we are spirit, but the moment we are incarnate, we are not only spirit. We are these three different folded in one single place. I mean, that's what human beings is the compilation of these three elements. So we can say, Daniel, can we call ourselves spirit? Yeah, we are spirit, but not only spirit, because now we have a physical body. We have a physical body. We cannot say my spirit or my spiritual body. No, we have a body. We have a spiritual body. So the spirit is the main element when we call as a spirit. So as we see in this diagram here, in this picture, so if, as according to the definition of Kardec, the spirit is this intelligent being of the creation, okay? Of course, is already a derivation from the intelligent principle. The spirit is already here. The intelligent principle is this intelligence that was created, is already working, building the perispirit until one day become a spirit, okay? So as we can see, we have the spirit, we have the perispirit that is our spiritual body that will mold the physical body. So we look the way that we look right now when we look in the mirror, and we have different races and shape and physiognomy. That is because our perispirit is the one that molds our physical body. So it's not the physical body that molds the perispirit. So the perispirit is the one that molds the physical body. So to have an idea how this connection is made between the spirit and the physical body, for example, let's consider this circle here as a spirit, okay? And this as the physical body, and we have that connection between the spirit and the physical body, we have the perispirit. We're gonna discuss why the name perispirit, or why Kardec created this name perispirit. And as you see, the perispirit is a body. So we have the physical body, we have the spiritual body that was called perispirit, and the perispirit itself also has its own physiology, okay? The same way that our body, we have our physiology, okay? We have our properties and function of our physical body. The perispirit also has that, you know? So, and different layers, different properties that we want to discuss this. So, as you see, as the spirits envelop the spirit, and as they move to the physical body, they become more denser, okay? So as we can see, spirit, peri comes from the Greek, means surround the spirit, you know, and has some property, and we're going to discuss the property. And in the introduction of the Spirit's book, the function, the perispirit is the link in which it unites the body and the spirit. That is a kind of semi-material envelope. So that is the definition of the perispirit or the spiritual body. What the spirit is made of? The perispirit. What the spirit, our spiritual body is made of. Because we know what our physical body is made of, isn't it? We know that it's made of cells, and cells made of molecule, atoms, and and so on, So, but our perispirit, what is the source? What's the element that formed the perispirit or the spiritual body? Well, this comes from the universal cosmic fluid, okay? So let's make an analogy, for example. If we're gonna dive in the deep of the ocean, we're not gonna go the way that we are. We need to have some apparatus that will make us, live or survive, under the sea. So we use some apparatus to keep us alive. Otherwise, we're gonna drown and die. The same way, the spirit, in order for the spirit to populate a globe, for example, here in our planet, our atmosphere, so they get the elements from the universal cosmic fluid that build that planet and build the spiritual body. So, for example, when we talk about we as a spirit, and we are already individualized, and we talk about crystals, plant, animals, the question that comes to our mind is like, okay, is a plant has a perispirit? Is animal has a perispirit? The crystals has a perispirit? The mineral has a perispirit? What we learn in Spiritism is that from the mineral kingdom, for example, the crystals, that's the most precious stone in the mineral kingdom, that moment we already have the perispirit from that planet is already starts to build, We don't have a complete perispirit, but from that moment, the energy that surrounds that spiritual principle is already being formed, okay? So as that energy moves on to different kingdom, the vegetable kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the perispirit also will learning. So when the spirit comes to the spirit form, so all the internship, all the experience that the perispirit had is already in place. So now the spirit is going to work his evolution from the human kingdom on, with all the elements. So as we can see here, one important thing for us to learn when we talk about perispirit is this etherical double. What is this etherical double? I think I misspelled. Etheric double is the layer that is immediately connect the perispirit and the physical body. This is the denser layer from the perispirit that connects the physical body. And also is we mentioned this in our training for passes here. The etherical double is the layer that is located, the chakras, the vital center, is located in that area. And is in the etherical double that we have the vital fluids. So each one of us has the amount of vital fluid for us to live a determined years in our life. So if you cut our life short, the etherical double stayed. That's why, for example, in case of suicide, if the person is supposed to live 80 years and the person took he or her life 50 years old, so you still have 30 years of etherical double that is still connected to the perispirit. So that's why all the sensation that person that took their life happened to the body, to the remain of the body, the perispirit is going to feel. And by consequence, the spirit. So this is very important. So the etherical double is very dynamic, okay? We can energize. How do we feed the etherical double? By our brief respiration, the sun, what we eat. So this is the thing that gives this energy to the etherical double to still become vital, okay? So Kardec asking the question 93 in the Spirit's book, is the spirit per se without a covering? Or, as some insist, is it surrounded by some kind of substance? And the enlightened spirit answer, the spirit is surrounded by a substance that might look a vapors to you, but which is still quite dense to us. Nevertheless, it is sufficiently vaporous to be able to raise itself up into the atmosphere and travel wherever it wants to go. When you say wherever it wants to go, this relates to the atmosphere of the planet that the spirits live. Okay? Because once the spirit is ready to go to another planet, they need to acquire the spiritual, the universal cosmic fluid of that planet and to build the perispirit that is related to that planet. Okay? So it's the same thing, for example, if you go to the beach, you have a different kind of clothing. If you go to the middle of the Amazon forest or rainforest, you're not going to go the same way you go to the beach. You're going to put something that's going to protect you from the bugs and make you at least have a way to navigate in that place. So it is important for us to understand that the spirit acquire the universal cosmic fluid, the matter, the subtle, the ethereal matter from the planet that they live to build the perispirit. Okay? Kardec made a comment on that question. He says, as a fruit seed is enveloped by the perisperm, the spirit per se is surrounded by an envelope, which, by comparison, may be called the perispirit. Kardec was the first one that called perispirit because he made this analogy. Well, before Kardec, this spiritual body, Paul of Tarsus already has mentioned in the Bible. So we see in the letters from to Corinthians that Paul already called, take care of your spiritual body. But if you go a little bit back, the ancient time, we're going to learn, the ancient, that they already have this idea that we have a spiritual body. We have all the bodies that was not this physical body. So Kardec, because he has this mind of scientific mind, so he conclude that this spiritual body, this envelope, because if you see the answer, it doesn't mention anything about spiritual body or perispirit. Kardec was the one that gave this name, perispirit. So he basically he got the example from, the physiology of a fruit, as we can see here. For example, this is an avocado. Avocado, yeah. So we have the seed that would be analogous to the spirit. Then we have the perisperm, that is analogous to the perispirit. The perispirit is this thin membrane here that surrounds the seed. And then we have the fruit, the mesocarp, that's the other area, that would be, by comparison, our physical body, just for us to visualize. But when we talk about the perispirit, and I mentioned that the perispirit has a physiology, has different layers, okay? So it's the same way we look at our physical body. So our physical body has what? We have skin, we have muscle, we have bones, we have all the tissues, and to form this body. So we have different layers as well, okay? And each layer has a particular property and function. For example, our skin. The cells that build our skin is different from the cells that build our intestine. If we reverse this, maybe we're going to be burned by the sun, because this cell has capacity, filter that can, protect us from the radiation, external radiation. The same way that if we put these cells in our digestive system, We're not going to be able to digest food because they don't have the property, the necessary property and function to do that job. So everything in our physical body is well put together by nature, consequently by God. But when we talk about the perispirit or spiritual body, it's the same. So we have all different layers. Because of time, we're not going to go to each one, because this is another workshop. But why the spirit needs the physical body? Someone may ask, Daniel, why the spirit connects straight to the physical body? You know, why? So we have an example here. For example, if we take, for example, the power plant, the light that we have here right now. This light, the amount of voltage that we have here is different of the voltage that is in the post outside or the one that comes from the source. Where is the source of this light? It's somewhere here in this state there is a power plant that is generate energy, electrical power plant. So if the energy that is generated there, that is a very powerful energy, was connected straight to the lamps here, to the bulbs here, what's going to happen to the lamp? We're going to explode. Okay? So this analogy we can apply here. If the powerful energy that is generated by the spirit directly touches the dense bodies, in this case the perispirit, or not the perispirit, the ones that's close to our physical body, to disintegrate them. This process is called energetic decay. So this is very important because here lies a good example for us to see and to prove the power of the spirit, not the power of our mind. Okay? That's why we can really transform our life, even like self-healing, by the power of our mind. So an example of this is like what I mentioned. Power plant generate this current that go to a substation, electrical substation, that diminish the amount of megawatts or kilowatts in this case, and after go to a transformer, it is the potency of this this energy will decrease in a way that will be compatible with the device that we have in our house. So that's why we have the perispirit. The spirit itself vibrate in a very strong, that has a very strong vibration, that if compared to the vibration of our body, and if you put together, we will have like a, how do you call circuit in English? Short circuit. Yeah, that's what we want to have. Because we ourselves, we already we are electromagnetic beings. We have electricity in our body. We are like a battery. We have several batteries here, okay? We generate this energy by itself, but there is other energy that we receive that's from the spirit that will be much powerful. Why the spirit has this powerful energy? Because when God created this intelligence, he created a powerful intelligence. It's not like things, but this power intelligence needs to be, needs to progress, to be in sync with the Creator. So here is an example, a draw example. I showed this before. This is from this book called Perispirit by Zalmiro Zimmerman. And we have the spirit here. We have the mental body. I didn't mention about the mental body, but the mental body is this other body that is the representation of the spirit. It's not our brain, okay? And then we have the perispirit, and between the perispirit and the physical body, we have the etherical double. Is the etherical double part of the perispirit or the physical body? What do you guys think? Is more part of the body. But disappear when we die, we lose the etherical double. But we don't lose the perispirit. So what happens is if we die before this the etherical double decay completely, the etheric double is still transmitting signal to the perispirit. That's why if we commit direct or indirect suicide, we still feel everything that the body feels. For example, how come we read in the André Luiz series that the spirit feel cold? Feel cold or feel, hungry. We see this in the book Nosso Lar, when André Luiz was complaining that he was feeling hungry, thirsty, pain. Where did this come from? Because, they still have some residuals of this energy connected to the perispirit. And also when the perispirit is very dense, sometimes there is not etherical double over there anymore. But the perispirit is very dense because of the mind of the spirit that they still needs to feed themselves from the energy of the incarnated one. So that's why addiction, sex, all the kind of thing that if we feed those in our mind, when we discarnate, we draw ourselves to those places. A place that a lot of spirit goes, that is very earthbound spirit, that the mind is so low, is, how do you call the place? Is slaughtering house? Slaughtering place that we kill animals? Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse is a place that a lot of spirits go through. I mean, in the book, the message, because the blood has vitality. And those spirits are so in need of that vitality that they go to those places. So in the book, the message, there is a chapter over there that André mentioned, that the spirits go to that place just to suck those energy. If you go to a place that is only for pleasure, what kind of spirit are you going to be there? Place that people use drugs. Pubs is full of spirit. Be careful when you go to drink your beer. If there is someone over there. But we're not saying that those spirits is bad. We are saying that the quality of the spirit that go to those places, they go for what? The same thing that we do. So if I like to watch soccer game, who do you think is watching soccer game with me? The same kind of spirit that we, especially the fanatical one. That's why I try not to be fanatic. Exactly. So we are just saying this. It's not for us to become like, oh my goodness, but for us to become aware, everything that's too much, we're not going to be alone by ourselves. Okay, so other names for perispirit. As I mentioned, spiritual body was first mentioned by Paul of Tarsus. Fluidic body. In Spiritism, we have all these names that people say: fluidic body, semi-material body, psychosoma, plastic mediator, organized biological model. All this name is synonym of the perispirit. One thing that is interesting, because we are talking about the spiritual body under the Spiritist teaching, let's see what this is for other philosophy. I didn't put anyone specific. I just put Spiritism versus exoterism, esotericism, esotericism. Okay, so here we make a comparison just for you guys to understand. This is like Kardec decided to simplify. Okay, we are not saying here that what the other religion or philosophy says is wrong. It's not. It's that Kardec just simplified in spirit, perispirit, and physical body. So we know that we have these 7 bodies. We have these 7 bodies, and somehow a lot of philosophy or religion agree with that. So the case of the spirit in other religion, we call divine body, atomic body. The perispirit is just the perispirit, but has different layers here inside, okay? Other philosophy called Buddhist body or spiritual body, nirvanic body, causal body, mental body, astral body, emotional body, etherical double. It seems we adopted that this body as well. So just for us to visualize and see that, and even if you Google, that there is a lot of information about those different bodies that we have. So it's kind of a common sense that we have a spiritual body, you know. So here is the question: why, Daniel, is it important to discuss about something that we don't see it, and even conventional science is not yet there? Why is it important for us to discuss about this? What studying the spiritual body or the perispirit will help our life? This is a good question, and I think we are kind of like not give too much attention for this body, because it's in this body that rely all the information, the experience that we have acquired since we come from the other kingdom. It's the source of our happiness and sorrows as well. So by looking at the perispirit, one thing that comes to your mind is that when we see that conventional science or medicine is not meet or minimize our pain, when we see that our life here compared to the life of our neighbor, it seems not fair, we should ask the question, why these things happen to us, or to me, or to the society? And what is the source of this problem? So when we look at the perispirit, we may have the answer. This book here, we're not going to have time to go, but this book, The Soul of Matter by the Dr. Marlene Nobre. I was reading this book because I to put this talk, we always read different books so we can get information. Blow my mind, because she does a very good compilation of information about the very easy to read, like simple language, simple, The second chapter, she talks about, let me open here, so I'm gonna tell so you can, we have this book to sell here. So she talks about the chapter 2, talking about perispirit, nature, constitution, normal and pathological modification, the role of illness. So she mentioned, because she was a physician when she was incarnated here. And just to read for you, let me see here. Constitution of human being, nature of the perispirit, constitution of the perispirit, vital bodies and the ethereal double, vitalism and reductionism, perispirit and evolution, chakra and forces center, the role of the perispirit in illness, normal and pathological modification of the perispirit and mediumship, and then conclusion. So, and this is very short, it's like 2 pages for each of those, topic. But the way she put the information is very consoling. You don't need to be spiritist because she really touched in a very plain language that, the perispirit is the place that we should look at. Is our spirituality, our spiritual body, is the place that we should look as the cause of our sorrows. Now, by going to the perispirit, first, we learned that the perispirits have different layers, okay? It's like onion. We have the astral body. What is this astral body? It's a body, a layer in the perispirit that when we sleep, travel, emancipate, okay? Causal body. What is the causal body? It's the layer where everything is recorded. Imagine the computer. For example, all experience that we had in past life, every thought and action we have right now is recorded there. So when our physical body perished, that causal body stays, and there is record everything. And we have the vital body that when we die, that is the ethereal double, disappear because it's finished. So important for us, when we causal body is where everything is recorded, okay? So here, to have an example, let's see this as the physical body, okay? And this is the central conductor, means like, the pilot, the spirit, okay? And then we have the physical body. Look from the physical body, expand and from the spiritual body. So the etherical body is the one that connects very close to, because it's very dense, okay? This shows the density of those layers, okay? As we move further, less denser, okay? The astral body, the mental body. Why the mental body is here? Because the mental body is the one based on our experience in the level of the line of thoughts that we have, will mold the perispirit. The perispirit is the one that molds the physical body. So everything resides in the mind of the spirit. Because whatever vibration, thoughts that we emit or action will be determined by the mental body. And the mental body will influence the perispirit, that is the spiritual body, and the spiritual body will help to form the physical body. So, and finally, the causal body, that is this out layer here, where everything is recorded, okay? Just for us to visualize. Of course, thing is not like this. This is a different dimension that I don't know how to show this to you. This perispirit, of course, they expand, okay? They can emancipate. Function and properties of the perispirit. Well, in terms of function, we already mentioned the beginning, formation of the physical body. It is the biopsychophysical memory that will serve as a guide of the spirit that will incarnate in all circumstances and need. So we always say that the spirit is the one that is in control of everything. But the moment that the spirit is incarnate, with the help of the perispirit, now this memory is shared with the physical body. So it's not right to say that everything that's happened is only recorded in the spirit mind. Because now we are these three-dimensional beings. So our brain now has a function that is for memories, okay? So the spiritual body now share information with our brain. That's why what happens is for people that has a mental problem, like mental disorder, like the case of Alzheimer's disease, the spirit cannot remember, the spirit, the human, the incarnate cannot remember. They forget stuff because the machine is compromised. Okay? The question that you may ask is like, but in the spirit level, is this spirit recording the experience? It's a great question. I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. Probably. But now look, the spirit is not completely free. The spirit is connected to this body. So now all the information that comes is going to go to this sense, transmit to the spirit, and vice versa. Okay? But now this input is compromised. The spirit is not receiving those information. So we don't know. Maybe the spirit is receiving when they're sleeping, but when they come, they don't remember. So it's like you don't remember the past life because, was put in the forgetfulness of the past. Another function serves as an intermediary element between the spirit and the physical body, we already mentioned. Storage of all experience of the perispirit. Everything that we do is storage in that. Where? Where in the perispirit? Which body? Causal body. okay? Causal because it's the cause, the source. The property is a lot. Okay, so we mentioned that the perispirit is same material. So all the property that this matter has, the perispirit has, plus all the properties that we, in this dense matter, don't have. For example, oneness means like there is only one perispirit for a spirit. A spirit cannot have two perispirit, okay? Density. So the spirit has some kind of weight and also radiação, how do you say it? Radiation, porosity. There is a space between, the cells that can expand. Reflective capacity. So everything that we think, our thoughts, can be projected to the other spirits to see it. Okay, so reflective capacity. The physical body doesn't have the reflective capacity. I can think something, but unless I have body language capacity, you can read my body language, but you cannot read my thought. So the perispirit is different. Yeah, the perispirit can show immediately what the spirit is feeling. So that's why spirits can see what we think. Okay? Oops. What else? Plasticity. They can't change. Great example of this is the book Liberation. One thing that in the lower zone, some cities like in the umbral, that happens is that some spirit wanted to make justice, in the case of Gregorio. So they have this place where they judge other spirit. And when they do that, they can induce a spirit to take a different form, like animal form, okay? In the worst one is the ovoid form. So the spirit, because now is like the induction of one mind to another mind. It's telling the other mind, you are a sinner, you are a snake, you are, and the person now starts to think that they are that animal, and then they become like the perispirit transform, like there is this plasticity change. Intangibility, as we cannot touch, penetrability, they can go through the walls, whatever, expansibility. If we take a nap here, those that are taking a nap here, the perispirit is slowly disengaging. That's happened to us, isn't it? Like we take a nap, like we go places, like in 1 second. What else? Oops, sorry. Global sensitivity, magnetic sensitivity, odor, like smell, temperature. We feel cold, feel hot. It was a repository, archive. It does not think. The perispirit, the spiritual body, is not the intelligence being. It's just an instrument, okay, to help. What else? It does not have any will. It does not make any choice. So it's just a body that the spirit needs for us to incarnate, to manifestate in a planet or in a place. So to finalize, I got this from the book Evolution in Two Worlds. This is chapter 2, when we talk about the perispirit. In the spiritual body, André Luiz says, in the spiritual body, is our perispirit, we have all the equipment of automatic resource that govern the billions of microscopic beings at the service of the intelligence in the surround where we find ourselves. Those resources were acquired slowly by the being in millenniums and millenniums of effort and recapitulation or repetition in multiple sectors of the spiritual evolution. So here is to tell us how important it is for us to cultivate good thoughts, to cultivate good action, so we can have a clean perispirit. Because a clean perispirit will mold a clean body. So we're not going to go to the process here, but someone may ask, okay, how the perispirit connects to the body? So we already learned that depends of the vibration or the level of the spirit, or the kind of experience the spirit is going to need in a reincarnation. This spirit is going to be drawing to the genes or the elements during the conception to choose the best pool, genetic pool of information to build a body that represent what the perispirit is. So it's very complex, but if we want to know more about this, in the book Missionary of Light, of the Light, there is a great example over there. There is 2 chapters over there, the incarnation of Segismundo, explaining very well how this process is done. So now, when we look at ourselves, let's not complain. If we have some problem with our, physiognomy, if we don't like our, body, let's think twice. Because we have, in this life, what is the most important for us to succeed, to move on. All the tools, as he mentioned here, all the equipment, And this was acquired, of course, in many years of evolution. To finalize, I would like to finalize with a conclusion of the in this book, in the chapter 2. Marlene, she wrote that. This is one not from, she says, the perispirit will only become beautiful and radiant. A true nuptial grown, when we make a growl, yeah. Gown. When make it is wrong over there, isn't it? Is wrong? Gown. When we make a true effort to relive the lessons of Jesus in our daily life, transforming ourselves into more generous, kinder, and above all, more charitable beings living in true brotherhood with our brothers and sisters in humanity. So, in another word, one day for us to become pure spirit, well, when we become pure spirit, the spiritual body, the perispirit, is very ethereal, very thin. There is no, the record is like she mentioned here, the nuptial gown, that is that white, it's perfect, immaculate. In order for us to have those kind of perispirit, here's what I wanted to finish. Here is the how do you say? It's the suggestion. First, imitate Jesus. Second, try to be generous, kinder, and above all, charitable. That's it. It's the only way we can cleanse all the dark spot that we have in our spiritual body. So I will stop here and open for question, comment. Yes. Of course, because of time, probably I'll come back and go a little bit deep, for example, perispirit and illness, because it's the chapter over there is there is a lot of information. But I just wanted to give this highlight about this topic.
So, Daniel, think about a person, when the person has a very serious illness, there are a variety of them. So everything concentrates on the perispirit, right? So like a conflict that is in my head. For example, you were born this way to attain an experience, right? Now, some people heal, some people don't heal. And it's very complex, I think, because I think everybody gets this doubt. So it's meant to be, you were born like this. Like you see things that are very, very, you cannot change that. If you are born without an arm or a leg, and they say, well, but it was there. It was engraved in your perispirit, right? So you were born that way, right? And there are other diseases that you are complete. You are born complete, but you have that problem now. So it is valid to say that then if you improve your way of thinking, you become like Jesus, or at least almost close to what Jesus is. So that can influence then in your health, not only physical, but also mentally, right? So it is possible. Like, would that apply for these diseases that nowadays, I don't know if before, if this is new or not, but the diseases that are called autoimmune, right? Can they be reversed then? If the people have the knowledge about this, would it be possible to reverse? Because, I see people say, oh, because I have this arthritis or this arthrosis or this rheumatoid, and the person kind of shrinks, so much pain, and you know what I mean?
Look, everything is possible. Everything is possible. It's not me that said. Jesus said, everything is possible, okay? So let us go back to this topic. It's a very delicate topic because majority of us has think that we ask why, okay? And sometimes become very difficult to reconcile with our limitations. If we could, we wanted to fly, we wanted to have everything. But thing is not this way. So let us go by part. There is things that we learn in spiritual. For example, what is the law? The law of is justice, love, and charity. Justice, love, and charity. Okay? This is the justice. We learn like part 3 of the Spirit's book. So every time we deviate from God's law and we make choice, decision, there is a mark over there. We need to come in we need to have some consequence of that, okay? So we learn here in the Genesis that there is 3 steps for us when a mistake is made, okay? And here's something. Every mistake that we make may have some attenuation because it depends of the situation. So we cannot go black and white, okay? So they say the first step is repentance. Okay, I made a mistake, okay? For example, in this life, someone, I don't know, kills someone, okay? There was a transgression of God's law. The person can repent in this life is already a good improvement. Some people doesn't repent. They try to justify, why I did this because of this, but you transgress the law. There is an attenuation in the law. The second step is what? First is repent. The second step is what? Now. Expiation. What is the expiation means? Is this that you mentioned? When you come and you don't accept, you feel that, everything's happening to me. That's the expiation. We go to this painful moment. And the third step is reparation. That's when the person comes, the life is terrible, but what the person does, she feels that she's paying off. Teachers, physicians, all these professionals that people like work day and night and they love what they do, is a reparation. A lot of people come in the educational field because they mistake in previous life and they come to teach. They this way, so they come to teaching. Some people that comes to fight for a cause, those people is already in the reparation mode. They do this without complaining with the Creator. They might complain with the society, with one another here, but not with the Creator, okay? But when you see people that's already like still rebellious because they don't accept the life that they have, they blame the parents, they blame them is not yet there. So it needs to come again with the same problem to repair. Yeah. So the other thing is that if the cause is not in this life, is for sure in previous life. As you said, if you are born with a without a member, a limp, you know, what can you do? I mean, thanks God nowadays we have the medicine so advanced that you can always prosthetic, you know, apparatus to minimize your limitation. But before we didn't have that. That's why you said right. When we learn more, when we study more, we become less, we understand. The understand will, you know, truth will set you free. Jesus said about that. So we are not here to say that even if there's people that even if they have to have a very strong positive mind, that I say that why I said nothing is impossible. But if it is in the karmic process that the person needs to have this whole life, experience that situation, so be it. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You see sometimes on TV that they are ahead of what the doctors expected. So good they are
Yeah.
doing, of course, not like before.
But there is a lot of case of people here that, you know, the other day, I think yesterday, I was looking Facebook. A friend of ours from Connecticut posted a beautiful video of her daughter running. And she put like, and the doctor says that she never will be able to walk. And she was running. And even myself, I put a comment because she's a spiritist and she has a daughter that, you know, had a problem, um, medical problem, and the doctor said that she never would be able to walk. And she made this video and posted on Facebook. So, you know, there is hope out there. Each one of us, we have our own, how do you say, not struggle, but cross cross is the better, to bear, you know. Depends how we're going to, you know, face the situation.
I think we have, of course, we're not able to reconstitute arm, for instance. But something that is like you mentioned, some autoimmune disease, you're going to see that allergy, autoimmune disease, MS, they have a very clear emotional component, stress component, rebelliousness, upsetness there. And you hear about flare, suddenly that disease gets worse. You don't know why. It gets, you know, it's called flare, really. You know, it jumps up in crisis. And think this disease is so clear that if you understand the relationship between the power of your mind and emotion on the physical wellness or disease, you will pay attention more to how your behavior is, especially towards, in terms of relationship, everyday, little things. And also I think the will, that belief, that faith that I will walk. Because we have what we call, science is catching up, our own stem cells. Before we thought was only need to be embryonic in order to regenerate a new liver, a new vase, vessel, whatever. But no, we have our own stem cells that is governed by our will. So we have to learn. Of course, Jesus, high spirits know better than us. Some people that are very religious, those monks, etc. But we can go there. This is an example that Daniel said about this person that walked. No? So I think it's so clear that we can do that.
This is good because to me this is a conversation because Johnny said a word that I wanted to react to, and then it's almost like ESP. Then you talked, then Yasko talked, and all the answers kept building. And I think we struggle all the time with illness, and we get more enlightened. It's not a punishment. I mean, this is just something that happens. But once it happens, where I see differences in people is how curious are they to keep finding out maybe what caused it or what can heal it. Going to the regular Western medical doctor is excellent. You need the tests, you need the diagnosis, you need the treatment. But if you just stop there, like to get to Yasko's response, Louise Hay wrote that invaluable book, How to Heal Your Body. Every time you have an illness, you read what the probable mental, emotional, driving cause was. It may not be your answer, but it will get you thinking. And she gives you an affirmation. So look at all the other things you can do. And then the other one you have to struggle with is doubt. You can be very enthusiastic, take up a new diet, take up a new exercise routine, but some part of you is still doubting. As soon as you doubt, the energy you're sending out to the universe is, I don't know what you want. It's what Wayne Dyer taught us with the power of intention. So you have to keep revisiting, like we talk about here, self-examination, self-reflection, prayer, meditation on a daily basis. You have to be checking out where you really are in the relationship of healing.
Thank you. And I was second to what Paula just mentioned, because it is a continuation of our thoughts. And it gives me some answer as well. But I wanted to point out one thing that I got from this and made me think. Beyond the physical body, I'm not going to be pretty, in this lifetime. I am who I am, and that's it. I am this, I have this physical body. We got to this point, and we learn how to take care of that. We learn how to take care, for example, well, at least we hope with the teachings that we receive here, how to deal with an illness. We know that, there are causes. I want to go a little bit deeper on on thoughts in itself, on the repetitiveness of thoughts. For example, let's say a lack of response or quick response to, for example, to forgive, right? Or a lack of response on how to move on in certain situations in life. Is this connected with this perispirit based on the information that I got? And you can correct and you can comment on. It's something that we have in storage inside of us. And if so, what would be the way to break this repetitiveness of this several times that we went back and we repeat the same behaviors? And I'm connecting again with the lack of response to a drastic situation or to something that impedes us to live a better life, as just Paula said. The doubt, or to perhaps to forgive, or to perhaps to build a more regenerative ideal in life and move on. I don't know if I made myself clear, but I'm going more into the thought processes.
Yeah, the discussion has become deep now. Huh?
So it is like, it doesn't matter the disease. Where there is a will, there is a way then, because you put yourself out of the label. I think the same thing that Paula said. Yeah, because if you like somebody says, yeah, you have this, Daniel, okay, and you go home and say, Kirsten, I have this, and you don't do anything about it. You don't change your thoughts, your diet, your habits, your nothing. So yes, you are gonna have that. And I'm not telling here for people to be rebellious. I what I have that? No, this is not gonna. It's gonna be worse. But I think, okay. So what do I have to do to change, right? To get better.
I guess I have to. This is interesting because when I was putting this talk, I'm gonna just bring the base of the perispirit And something told me that you need to revisit this and talk about illness and perispirit. Because I don't want it to go to the illness part here, because then you need to, I think, to illustrate and to help us, we need to get stud cases. You need to get different situation. One thing that we learn is that what is illness first? What is the illness of the body? Is. But why? So it's imbalance, yes. But why this thing happen? Because the body is just cleans, is a passive machine that will drain all the dark garbage or fluids that is storage in the perispirit. So when you get sick, you are cleaning your spiritual body. Okay? So, but now we have a second component on this, that's the mind of the spirit, that is not accepting that. Then we become rebellious. When they say that the perispirit stores everything, is everything. Is our thoughts, is our action. But going back to what Liu mentioned about, for example, forgiveness, about, hatred, about angry, all this kind of thing that we manifestate in the physical body is recording over there as well. Now, how do you do for this not to repeat, keep repeating? Disease of the body. We get sick. And then, and then, so if you don't resolve this in this lifetime, it's going to be resolved in the next one. Here is something that we learn. So why you need to have the spiritual body? It's just to manifest ourselves in this planet. Because the day we finish with this planet, we're going to go to another planet. Then we're going to build another, if needed, spiritual body. So let's think about the level that we are in this planet. Planet of trial and expiation. In my mind, and I'm going to say this as my reflection on this, because I didn't read this anywhere, I think in this level, it's impossible to become pure spirit. I'm saying this, Daniel. I didn't read this anywhere here. It's impossible. But we can give a big jump. We have example in our life, okay? That people that is already graduate in the planet Earth and was invited to move to another planet. Bezerra de Menezes was on one of the example. But he decided not to go. Buddha decided not to go, decided to stay around and help. They are not pure yet, but they are graduate. So a good example for this, I mentioned this in our study group. So when we are toddler, we go to kindergarten. We have the chairs that's appropriate for that level. But you don't bring that chair to the university. First, because anatomically, it's not going to fit you. Second, the room that you have in the university, if you do that, this doesn't match. So the same thing here. Once we are done with all the experience here in this planet, then we're going to be moved to another planet with another perispirit, because all these ones already we already clean your computer, so you're going to install new software in that computer. So let's look at how long we human has been walked on the earth. I don't know, 10,000 years, let's put that. I mean, I'm not talking about the primitive ones. I'm talking about when we create the laws, for example, 4,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago, how many reincarnations we had from 4,000 a year or 5,000 a year? From the Egyptians, 6. Yeah, no, the Chinese. I'm 20,000, okay, 20,000 a year. So, of course, because the lifespan changed, and we live more nowadays than 20,000 years ago. Probably 20,000 years ago, with 30 years old, we are already old man or old woman. So, but of course, there is attenuation in our action. But how many situations we have been going through? And now you just don't want it to suffer anymore? There is experience that we went through that because of the mercy of God, we are not even able to face in this lifetime. So it's still waiting for us for the 5 or 10 reincarnation for us to be able to face the situation. This one? Okay, causal. Okay, what are? Yeah.
Because you're willing to give another seminar or whatever, plus the perispirit and the disease. So the memory that we are filtered, you say in this causal body, you have all the memory recorded. Where is filtered for this incarnation in order to who acts in this filter? What can be go to physical body or not? So that comes all the psychological, how to say, go backwards.
I think, I don't know, Yasko. The only thing that we learn is that this is the layer that all the experience is stored, okay?
It's only 5%.
No. This is just a representation. We should, yeah. Okay. To the illness. Yeah, to the illness. Yeah, because here, when you say like mental body, but we know we have emotional body. Mental body is everything. So we can even break down the mental body, So the what's going to manifest in our life when we incarnate, of course, I mean, like, I don't know. Depends of what is planned in the other side for us. One thing for sure. Yeah.
You break some barriers
there. Yeah. Because the last one. Yeah, we need part 2 of this.
This can all lead to part 2. I'm just curious, if that's you right there, and you right, and there's one right next to it. Let's take me or pick your wife. It doesn't matter. What are we actually, are we exchanging anything? That's my question.
That's a good question. Wow, Paula. This is a third one. Yeah, I read about this, and you see, we have this answer here. This book here, the Janus, it answers this question. No doubt that we influence one another. Even though we can also heal other people by using our etherical body. The ectoplasm that is generated, the healing energy that will affect the perispirit cells, because this perispirit also has a physiology that with my, perispirit, I may be able to also, interfere in the healing of that other perispirit. The question is, how long this healing is going to last? Because let's go back to Jesus. How many leprosy he healed? Leprosy. How many? 10. The gospel, 10. How many of them came back to thank Jesus or to walk the right path? Just one. Just one. That one was healed. The other 9, the disease came back. And they die. Everybody die. At the end. But that one move on in the scale of evolution. To finalize, how many people go to church, come to the Spirit Center when has a problem? As soon the problem disappear, the person disappear. And then the problem comes, they come back. How many people came when Jesus was ill? When Jesus was ill? Just one. So that's why we continue in that level. I always say to some of my friends that ask, do you go 3 days in the Spirit Center? I say, yeah. And if we have like 5 days, I'll come 5 days. Oh, because you need? No, because I don't want to get sick. I don't want it to get, my mind deviate and start to think about, because this help us, because we come here, oh, my responsibility, I need to give a talk, I need to study, I learned this, I cannot do this anymore. And that become very strong in our mind. And then when you realize you don't need to do that anymore. I used to like to go to happy hours, this kind of thing after. So I don't do this anymore. It's not because I'm better than other person. No, it's because I don't need to. Sometimes we do things just to fulfill a social thing. Is this thing wrong? No, but the question is, that time that you spend over there, it would be nice to be learning something that will help you to change your mental field. So it's just a suggestion, because it's very important for us to utilize our time wisely. We see people all the time, I don't have time to do this. But do you have time to do other things? I don't have time to read this book. I don't have time to go to this place. I have to go to this party. I have to do that part. Okay, how many of these things we have? This is very, very small time that we need to spend. I mean, we need to think about this because of this body here, causal body. Forget everything about this perispirit. Just concentrate on this one, because this one is the one that's going to record everything that we go through. All the other part will somehow disintegrate when we move on to more evolved level. I'm going to stop here. We're going to have our passes. But look, I'll promise that I'll dive in. And if you guys wanted to buy this book and read, no, serious, it's very easy to read the book. Because only this chapter I read this week. There is other thing in this book. And you know what's nice about this book is because she wrote this book, but she got the best of what we have in the codification and other books and compile in one book. So she's already helping us. Thank you, Dr. Marlene, because she already did the hard work. It's just us to sit down and read. It's so good. I wish we have more of those books here. But thanks God, because of this talk, I was looking for material and I found this. Wow, this is great. And probably I'll come back and just discuss about this chapter 2 of this book that is very interesting. Okay, so thank you so much.